came for the thrill of the hunt. It chose us as its prey because of our intelligence and violent nature.
Alright, so lately I've been hanging out a little bit on the Cult of Cthulhu forum, Pro Boards forum or something like that. I don't really post a whole lot just because I don't like typing and all that kind of dumb shit, but there's been this guy that originally, okay, Ego Diabolus was asking a pretty good question about the value of the Simonomicon. Its authenticity, or validating versus invalidating it. Perhaps not even authenticity, but as far as, you know, how does it connect to the Lovecraftian Necronomicon or that tradition, whatever. So there's this guy on the boards that said, hey, wait a minute, my master is actually, my sensei is actually a gatewalker. He's actually somebody that uses this system as a fucking, you know, initiatory tool. This guy named Warlock Asylum. So Warlock Asylum comes in, he starts pissing in everybody's coffee. Venger Satanis, being the fucking diplomat that he is, says, you know, I'm going to keep giving this guy second, third chances, being nice to this motherfucker. You know what I say is that he can do that all day long, but I'm going to be an asshole. I'm going to fucking call this guy out. I'm going to lay him out, draw and quarter him, and then I'm going to fucking like kick the carcass to the goddamn winds, because guess what? This dude is a fraud, just like the book that he uses is a fraud. Everybody in the occult community knows this. It's the worst kept secret, is that Peter Levenda wrote the Necronomicon, the Simonomicon. Simon Peter wrote it. Everybody fucking knows this. If you don't know it, Warlock Asylum, then you're a goddamn idiot. Everybody fucking knows it. Especially when you read the works that he puts under his own name, Peter Levenda. And then you start seeing where he's coming from with this, the whole twisted mythology, the twisted Sumerian mythology that he presents in the Simonomicon. You'll begin to see exactly how it all fits together, and it's almost like a joke. And not really a joke. You know, a mature Levenda actually came back to this system that he created years later and wrote the Gates of the Necronomicon. Because, well, he is an occult practitioner. He's somebody that understands things. They said, you know what, I made this thing kind of as a half joke. I was trying to give some legitimacy to the idea of a real Necronomicon. I was actually trying to make some money and sell some books, and I did that. Well, now let me go back as a more mature individual and fucking, you know, flesh this out a little bit more and see if I can build it into a workable occult system. Is it workable or not? I really don't give a fuck. Perhaps it is, but the thing where he fucked up was where he took, you know, genuine sources and genuine texts and then started trying to insert little like words in there to make it seem like it had any relevance whatsoever to H.P. Lovecraft's Cthulhu mythos, which it has none. And every time it's bastardized, every time you take an Azathoth and turn it into an Azag-Thoth, you're just missing the entire point of where Lovecraft was even coming from. So, you know, it's one thing to create a Sumerian grimoire out of your ass. And it's quite another to create a Sumerian grimoire out of your ass and then try to, you know, cut and paste little words into that text and make it like, oh, this is actually the real Necronomicon. The Simonomicon bears absolutely no relevance whatsoever to the Cthulhu mythos. It really doesn't, except insofar as Peter Levenda actually had a paradigm, and still does have a paradigm, of opposing forces, if you will, in the cosmos. If you've ever heard him speak, if you've ever read any of his named books that he wrote under his own name, you'll know exactly where I'm coming from. But I think Warlock Asylum, if I can call you by your real name, Warlock Asylum, that you just don't understand that. Your research is all fucking shoddy. It's all bullshit. It's like, okay, let me explain how this guy's mind works. This guy's mind works something like this. We all know that the Sumerians invented beer. That's just a fact of history. Everybody knows that, right? I'm drinking a beer right now. Ergo, I'm Sumerian. That's kind of the way his mind works. And what I did was I went through his entire fucking site. Well, not the whole thing, because I got bored, like, really quickly by the shoddy scholarship. By the way this guy just tries to do what I just did. You know, use a word in sentence A and connect it to a word in sentence B and then say, oh, sentence A plus sentence B means ergo A equals B. And it just fucking doesn't. I'm going to put a couple screen caps up here from this guy's website. Perhaps I'll start with, forgive me for a second while I pull this shit up and look at it. I'm going to start with one where I'll read it for you. Anyone who is familiar with Kabbalistic correspondences could easily see the similarities between the 7 days of creation as found in Genesis and the qliphothic tree that Simon uses in the Simon Necronomicon. You mean Peter Levenda, and he never uses a qliphothic tree. I don't care what you said in the post prior to this, it just makes no goddamn sense. He's not using a qliphothic system. In fact, his whole approach is right-hand path, but if you don't get that, you're just fucking retarded, like I said. We know for certain that each creative day is of Sumerian and Babylonian sources, you mean origin, not sources, due to what is found at the end of the verses describing the creative days. And the evening and the morning were the first day. Now, he goes through, I'm not going to read it all. You know, this is not literal 24-hour days. Ergo, therefore, the term evening and morning must be symbolic of Inanna Ishtar. And I left that up there just so you could read it a little bit and see. This is how this guy's mind works. Because the words evening and morning appear in the creation story. And because certain theologians don't accept that those were literal 24-hour periods, ergo, we're talking about Inanna Ishtar as the evening and morning star. Well, first of all, the Hebrews didn't fucking know, like a lot of ancient cultures, that the evening and morning star were the same star. But that's beside the fucking point. The 7 days of creation bear no... If you keep reading this goddamn article, and it's retarded from top to bottom and from left to right, it's just fucking silly. If you read it, you'll understand that this guy has never really done any research on exactly what the 7 days of creation are. Because he probably doesn't read Hebrew and understand that actually the 7 days of creation was God swearing a covenant with his creation, because the word for rest, the word for Sabbath, and the word for to seven oneself are all the same word, and we get the word Sabbath from that. So, whatever. It's just like shoddy research. It's like I see word A in sentence A, and I connect it to, you know, concept B in sentence B, and ergo, they're the fucking same thing. Every goddamn article on this dude's site is the same shit. It's that same shoddy ass bullshit. So then I found another I'm gonna screen cap this shit too and put it up. I found another thing where it's okay, check this out. This is fucking Warlock Asylum's top 20 grimoires and occult works, and then I screen capped just enough so you could see what number 1 was. Down at the bottom there. Okay. We've seen that. The Vampire Bible. The fucking Vampire Bible. This is a book that advertises itself as under 50 pages. The guy could have been more honest and said it's under 20 pages. And it's 20 pages of fucking nonsense, bullshit, crap. Crapola. As a matter of fact, on this guy's site, he links fucking Warlock Asylum. Let me use his real name. He links fucking the Temple of the Vampire. This is fucking retarded. This is like kid shit. This is like D&D. This is why I get kind of pissed off at the occult online community, because so many of them are like little fucking kids that are retards. Actually, I think Warlock Asylum might be a kid. He might be a little kid or something like that. I really doubt, just based on his choice of words and the way he, you know, researches things and stuff like that, I just don't think he's where it's at. I mean, fucking Vampire Bible, that's your number 1 grimoire? Actually, if you look through it's not actually 20 books, it's 22 books, so I guess the guy can't count either. You know what I mean? And then you look at his posts, some of them are in like multiple font colors, and one of them is like this really dark brown that's hard to read and shit, like he just like lost track of what he was typing and clicked like different font colors and stuff, and it doesn't even look like a rainbow. It just looks like some retard fell asleep at the keyboard and then fucking woke up and said, oh, oops, it's brown now. Brown like poop. Or maybe that's him trying to tell us when it's fucking poop coming out of his fucking nose. You know what I mean? With some bullshit. There's 22 books, the Bible's on there. But you know what? It said top 20 grimoires, and there's maybe 1 or 2 grimoires on there that are actually grimoires. So maybe this guy doesn't even understand what a grimoire is. I don't fucking know, man. But just, you know, to bottom line this shit, and like I said, to draw and quarter this motherfucker, he's an idiot. He's a fucking retard. He's like one of these guys that thinks, like that whole sat plus tan thing, like that explains Satan, because we see the word sat in Sanskrit and we see the word tan in Sanskrit. Ergo, Satan is actually a Sanskrit term. Fuck you, it's a Hebrew term. And fuck you, Warlock Asylum, you don't understand anything you're writing about, you're a goddamn retard. And I could go through every last one of your fucking posts on your little fucking blog, and I could rip them to goddamn shreds. But why should I bother myself with that shit? You know what I'm saying? Done and fucking done.